Okay. This video should be kind of short. I just finished with this last one here, gluing all of these together, starting with the one that's on the corner here that I'm kind of fiddling with right now. And you can see I have the two different types of chairs. I call this loaf chair. I like that shape a lot. And I'd already gone through and done some pre-color on the inside. This is loaf chair. And just the regular curved back. Now, these are not done. There's still some painting that I need to do because you can see some of the white here. On the inside here, you can see that I've done some black on those inside pieces, but not a lot. I have also readied, and I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. I'm going to tilt this down so you can see it a little bit better. And then take these off. Good grief, those are just killing me up here. Let's see, there, that's a little better. Some scraps of foam core that are going to go into the bottom of the seats. And then I had traced all of the inside pieces. And on the backs here, this is, again, this took me a while to do. I got everything prepped yesterday so I could basically just sit down today and cut all of these things out. And that was after Baron and I went and took a really nice walk down to Brandywine, Brandywine Park, to just walk around. It was a nice day. And my knee needs the exercise. And you can see here, I've gone in and labeled this. This is the left leg section, purple. That's the one that I'm using. This is right leg section, purple, back leg section, purple, and front leg section, purple. You surely shouldn't need to do that if you're making 2 chairs or 4 chairs. The fact that I'm making 16 chairs meant that I really needed to keep track of these. So that's one of the reasons I labeled these. And you can see here what this looks like on the inside. I was just doing a dry fit to see again what the sequencing is. I got the sequencing knocked out for this, so I know, fold this first, cut that, that kind of stuff. And the sequencing for these pieces, this little green bit, these inside pieces will, and this big piece will not be glued in until all of the white edging is done on the complete piece. And that's just, again, it's one of those things where you have to get the sequencing down, because your chances of getting black on any of these pieces is way greater if you wait until it's already glued in. Your pen slips or your paintbrush slips and it's all over the place. I also am going to need to remake, one chair. This chair right here was instrumental in making sure that I knew I can, in the instructions, tell people to make, I got little bits of glue on me, to double check something. And the double check is here. I'm going to use this little, it's here along this edge on each side, where this little flap, the glue goes on the flap, and then this is tucked behind it. And I'm recommending that you use just straight tacky glue with that. Now, here's the thing about the 2 glues. You've heard me talk about, I use the watered down tacky glue. And this one right here is probably about a 60-40, and I need to put a little bit more glue in it. This one's a little bit more liquid. And then this is just regular tacky glue. I just like this bottle because it keeps everything down in the front. Now, with the watered tacky glue, when you put 2 pieces of paper together, just regular paper, you push them together, you press, it's stuck. it's not going to come apart. The glue is much more liquid and can seep into the paper fibers, and it grabs hold a lot quicker. Now, the reason I want tacky glue or another strong white or clear glue to be used on the chairs is because it will help keep the structure together. You know, there was a Simpsons many years ago, in which Bart Simpson utters the line, "Don't move that poster. It's a load-bearing poster," from a wall. The tacky glue on this small a scale does a lot of heavy lifting and helps keep the structure upright. But what happens when you take two pieces of paper and glue them together with a nice amount of tacky glue, you press it down, you always get the little squirt out on the end, but you have to hold it for a few seconds, and you have to press, and you have to kind of massage it into place. What happens is you have the two pieces of paper, and then you've got the glue in between, and what will happen is things will start to drift or shift if you're not taking that extra 30 seconds or so and really pressing things down and holding them. And the reason I used presses instead of any kind of clip is because I don't want to make an indentation here in any of the illustration. So with these pieces here, you need to stop, pay attention to what you're doing. I actually figured out, let me see if I can move this a little bit. Sweep these off to the side. That when these two sides are being glued together, you need to hold your fingers in like this for a couple of seconds, and you need to make sure that edge of the two edges come together. Because on this one, I can lift this up a little bit. On this one, I glued it quickly and set it aside, and I didn't hold it for long enough, and it drifted, meaning this piece down here kind of drifted 1.5 millimeters off, and that's a lot. So I'm glad I have another copy of this, and I can cut it out and prep it. It's a little bit of a hump, but it's better that this taught me a very integral. Depends on the usage or maybe the context, I think. Anyway, sorry, brain off braining. That helped. Now you can also see with some of this, you've got some wiggling and some moving, and that's one of the reasons why you can put this in here. Now, I left these big enough that if you wanted to put multiples of these in here, knowing that they'd have to be cut a little bit bigger, because you can see here I made them a little small, because I don't know what kind of, if you're going to use a thicker paper to go in there, or even maybe a very thin carton board, you may need that space. So I made these a little smaller. I may make another one that's a little larger. So, I mean, there's enough space here that you can put two of them in there, and that'll give it enough heft. Plus, I was thinking about the fact that I'm going to have so many of these pieces left over from photographing them. So I think I'm going to do some extra, some of the zhuzhy bits, the things that I do for my own work. Like if you look here, these are some of some pieces that I painted. Let's see what color is this one. It's blue. Let's grab this one. This is just a dowel rod that I painted. Not a dowel rod, a piece of bamboo. And if you're one of my viewers or my people that watch my videos and have seen some of my demonstration stuff, you know that I like adding these in so the corners don't get so dinged up and bonked around. Again, with the tacky glue being some load bearing there, some structural load bearing to keep things up. So I think I may do some of that for these and maybe offer some for sale if I think they're good enough. That, of course, is always my problem. Do I think it's good enough? And frankly, I never think it's good enough. And in fact, when I'm going through these, The going through and making these today, I was like, oh my gosh, there's some structural stuff I'd like to change. I'd like to move this here, and I'd like to, what if I did this? What if I did that? I could move this around. Ooh, I could add something. The thing I was thinking about is like, oh, I could add something here that would help with structure, like a little piece that goes here for an armrest. And I'm like, oh my God, are you? To my own brain, I'm going, are you effing kidding me? You are not doing that. You need to get these out, and they need to make you like $10 before you can even start thinking about that. So these I'm going to work on more tomorrow, especially with some painting, some of the little bits on the, of course, on the little cracked bits here, and just doing some cleanup, adding the black edges, etc. And then I'll go ahead and start gluing these in. Surprisingly, these little bits inside did not take me that long to actually cut out. They were cut out pretty quickly. I could have, because this was a thinner paper, maybe glued them in, but then it would change the sequencing of construction. Pardon me, the sequencing would have been before these are glued in as a single piece of paper, so you could technically cut both sides at the same time. There would need to be some folding done already, because I've talked to you before about how on the insides you have to take account of this fold. This fold in this corner is going to take up about 1 millimeter, and that's kind of a lot of space. When you're dealing with something that is, 4.5, 5 centimeters tall, that's a millimeter is a lot of space. So, I'm going to be working on these tomorrow, off and on, while I do some painting, and finishing up some edges on a couple of other things, and then finally I can start the... Where are they? Oh, they're way over in there. I can't grab them. I can start the toy chests. So, yeah, and I've got 8 of those to make, and it's all rectangles. There's no curves. This should be really like wham bam thank you ma'am. These should go together really quickly. Knock on wood, my own head. Okay. Thank you, patrons, as always, for sticking with me and helping me get stuff that I need. Like, for right now, you keep me in glue and you keep me in copies, which is amazing. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.